Sun is another track that Mark and Tia and I wrote together, and it's a song about hope. You know, it's hope and love. It's about you know, a guy and a girl, and the guy's just expressing to his significant other just how important she is, that her love, you know, just encompasses him, and you know, he feels that as if it were the heat of the sun, you know. And it's got some pretty moving lyrics, especially in the bridge to me. And again, you know, I think there were some pretty good opportunities for some cool guitar work on that song, some interesting chords. It's somewhat of a minor blues song. But what I like to do when I write blues songs is, instead of sticking to the regular 1-4-5 typical blues progression, I like to introduce chords that aren't necessarily typical for the blues, and I think we did that in this song. The Wire is a really cool, just straight ahead rock song, basically. It's got a big Hendrix influence to it. You know, it's just straight ahead rock and roll. It was a perfect song for some heavy use of the wah-wah pedal, I think, which really gives the song its character. One of the great components of that song is the fact that I have one of the original Vox Clyde McCoy wah-wah pedals, which is known as like the best wah-wah pedal ever created, and you can hear the sound you know, on that track. I mean, the wah sound is just impeccable, and it's cool, man. It's just rocking, it's straight ahead rock and roll, and it's a good, it makes you, but if you play it in the car, you might catch yourself speeding going down the road.
Every time you fell, I was there to catch you.
Who's Gonna Catch You Now is another song written by myself and Zach Malloy. This song is very personal to me because it's really, from my perspective, the song is about two things. It's about, essentially, it's about being a parent, and which is something that, you know, I've had 3 kids in the past 4 years, and that has completely changed my life. And really, it's just about learning that you're powerless in life in general. But you know, your kids are going to grow up and they're going to end up making some mistakes, and you have to let them make their own mistakes. They have to learn from that, and no matter how much as a parent you want to save your kids from everything, you just can't. And it's really about that. And then it also kind of applies in a slightly different scenario about somebody, you know, a loved one that's really struggling in life, and again, the powerlessness of not being able to intervene and protect them from their own mistakes. Backwater Blues is it's an old Bessie Smith song. It's a traditional blues song that was written, I think it was written and recorded sometime back in the 1920s. Don't quote me on that, but it's a very early Bessie Smith song. And you know, it really pertains to a big flood that happened early in the 1900s down in the South, I think in Louisiana and the Mississippi Delta area. But we thought that the song was relevant because you know, my home state of Louisiana has been through a lot in the past several years with Hurricane Katrina and all the flooding that they've experienced with the Mississippi River and everything. And, you know, they've been through a lot, and we thought that even though this song was written almost 100 years ago, it's still lyrically relevant today. And we recorded it kind of as a tribute to the people of my home state. Strut, you know, that's just a great instrumental. I always like to try and put at least one instrumental on every record because ultimately this band, you know, the focus is about the guitar. And this was kind of like my little tip of the hat to a lot of my influences. One in particular is Stevie Ray Vaughan. I feel like you can hear a lot of his influence in that song. And you know, he really was a big inspiration for me. And on every record, I like to try and just give a nod to him because, you know, if it wasn't for Stevie Ray Vaughan, there may not be a Kenny Wayne Shepherd.